So I don't know much about that. So that's why I invited here a guest, an expert of Pinterest. And today with me is Anastasia from anastasiablogger.com. Hello, Anastasia. Welcome.
Hi. Hi, Alessandra.
Hi,
How are
welcome.
you?
Thank you very much. I'm really well. So you told
Great.
me that you are in Portugal, right?
Yeah, I
At the
live in
moment.
Portugal. I'm not
Oh,
Portuguese, but I live here for about 5 years already.
all right. Better weather
Yeah.
than London, I'm sure. I'm sure of that.
It's great weather here.
Okay, so let's start talking about you because maybe someone in my audience they don't know you, or just if you can give us a background about yourself of when you started writing your blog and
Sure.
why you started.
Okay, so I started working on my blog about 2.5 months ago. It was February or March 2017. And at that time, I was still working full time at my day job, and I could only work on the blog in the free time after work or on weekends. And it was a pretty tough year for me because literally I was just working at work and then working at home. It was just work all the time. It was pretty tough, but I really wanted to quit the day job, and so I was very motivated to make this blog work in terms of income, and I wanted it to substitute my day job income.
Right.
And before that, I had some experience not as a blogger, but I knew what is Google SEO, for example, very well. I was working as a digital marketer in several agencies. So I haven't been blogging myself, but I knew the theory of it. I knew how you can work with keywords for Google SEO. So I had a little bit of background, but mostly theoretically.
Got it. And why? So you said that you were working, you had another job, you had a
Yeah.
office, 9 to 5 job. So why did you start it? What was the reason why you started a new blog?
I was always dreaming to work from home, and I had some periods of my life when I was traveling in Asia, and I had this opportunity to work as a content manager. I was writing text as a copywriter, content manager, and then but copywriting work, it doesn't pay you that much. So I was just reading how other bloggers are traveling and making money, a lot of money, right? Much more than I could ever make at my day job. So I was thinking, why not? I can start it as a side hustle and then see how it goes. So that was the motivation. I always hope that it's gonna be the substitute of my day job, but I never believed that it will be just in 1 year. I was surprised myself that in 1 year I could leave it.
Okay, got it. And how did you choose your niche for your blog?
Well, it's a nice question, funny question, because on my blog I don't have any specific niche, even though when you go to my homepage you can see that I'm teaching people about Pinterest marketing and teaching people how to start a blog, but that's actually just the facade of my blog, and then I have a lot of topics related to healthy food, holidays, DIY, everything, home decor, even everything that works well on Pinterest platform. I'm chasing all those topics because I want to attract traffic from Pinterest. So eventually, if you look at my blog, if you were Google looking at my blog, you will think that, well, there's no niche, there's everything in this blog. And I can only say that initially when I started it, I was just looking at these big bloggers that are teaching others how to start blogs, and I thought I will do the same thing.
Okay.
And the problem is that when you're just a beginner yourself and you're trying to teach others how they can start a blog, then people don't see your authority. They don't see why would they learn from you? You yourself are a beginner. So my mistake was that I spent like the first 2 or 3 months trying to chase this blogging niche, trying to become an authority without having any proof. I didn't have much traffic. I didn't have any income at that time. So only when I started looking for those topics that are popular on Pinterest, I started getting some traffic and I could start publishing some income reports. And then I could make this transition to a blogging niche. So now I consider myself maybe more like a blogger who talks about Pinterest marketing. But again, like I said, if you look at my blog from the position of Google, you will never guess that it's a blogger who talks about money and online income. It's about everything.
I see. Okay. So you started like this, like just teaching everyone how to blog, and then it became something wider, and
Yeah.
Now you're talking
Because
about.
this, on Pinterest you can get very good traffic for, it's from America, it's coming US traffic, and it's a good traffic to monetize it with ads. There are companies that are called premium ad company management companies. For example, I work with Mediavine, and there are several others. And so these companies, they only want your audience to be from the United States, mostly. Sometimes they accept Canada and some other English-speaking countries, but they want mostly US audience. So Pinterest brings you this audience, but in order to get that traffic from Pinterest, you need to work in the niches that are popular on Pinterest, right? If you're just talking about money and something very business topic, very serious business topic, it's not easy to get a ton of traffic. You can get some traffic from Pinterest for sure, but you'll not get thousands of traffic monthly, to monetize it with ads.
Right. Yeah, obviously. And how long did it take you to get some traction on your blog?
Well, if I didn't waste those 2 or 3 months in the beginning to just trying to copy all what other big bloggers are doing, teaching others how to make a blog, I could probably reach it faster. But in about 6 months after I started focusing on Pinterest, I saw the first viral pins. And so I saw the first spikes in traffic. And before that, like with Google, your traffic is growing super slow, very steadily, but slowly. And it takes about 6 months, or actually now I think it's at least 1 year, for a completely new domain, a brand new domain, to start getting some authority and some traction in Google. Right. And with Pinterest, it's so much faster. So in 6 months, I was already getting some viral pins. And by the end of the first year, my income from ads was good enough for me to leave my day job. I got the first check from Mediavine for $1,500. For Portugal, it's a good money. Yeah. So I compared this with my day job, and I'm like, okay, it's more or less the same. So, and I left after 1 year.
Sorry, I didn't hear it. How long it took you before you left your job?
I left at the end of the first year. So for 1 year, I was working and doing this simultaneously with blogging, and then, well, I had to give them a notice to the company, a 1 month notice. So literally 11 months after I started my blog, I already was ready to leave, to quit, but I had to give them 1 month notice. So it ended up one year.
All right, nice to hear. And you thought, when you started your blog, you thought that all right, you started that because you wanted to leave your job and you wanted to work completely on your blog. But were you thinking that this was possible? Because I ask you this question because a lot of people, they think it's not possible to just work on your blog and that's it. And they think that this entire thing is a scam, it's not real. Yeah. But
I knew that it's not a scam because I think I mentioned that I was working in digital agencies, and I saw how much money people are investing in marketing online. So I also knew how much money people can make, like companies that can attract audience online, how much money they can make with this audience. Right. So I understood that it's possible. If it's possible for a company, why it's not possible for a person who is calling themselves a blogger? It's also a website. The difference is that the blogger doesn't have that much money for investing in advertising. So bloggers are usually relying on organic traffic. Either it's from Google or from Pinterest. So I just realized that I don't have the money to invest that much, but I can invest my time. That's what I started with. And I know that some of the income reports, when you're reading from bloggers, they can look very unrealistic. Some people are making over $100,000 per month dollars, Sometimes they're making even more, like $200,000 per month. It looks like crazy amount of money, but if you start looking back, like before they started publishing $100,000, they were publishing 20. Before 20, they were publishing income reports of 10,000, and so you start realizing that they had some time before they reached that point when you're seeing them. So there was some background, and they didn't from the first month they didn't make that much money. They had to work hard to get there.
Yeah, obviously, it takes time, it takes effort. That's something that usually people they don't understand. They want to have a success right away, but it's not possible. You have to work on your blog. And you said, Soke, the fact that Pinterest is a huge part of your success, right?
Right.
Did you start using Pinterest by yourself, or you learn it somewhere? What did you do?
Yeah, it's funny because when I started my blog, I just knew that I heard a couple of times the word Pinterest, but I never used it myself, and never used it as a marketer as well, because Pinterest is popular in the United States mostly, not even in Europe. Not that many people are using it, or not many people were using it at least 2.5 years ago. Now it's getting more popular here as well. But anyway, I just hear the word, but never imagined that you can drive traffic from it, because I thought it was just a social media platform like Facebook or Instagram. So I knew that you can get some traffic from Facebook, but you need some ad budgets for this. It's not that you're getting, and I also imagined that you're getting traffic whenever you're publishing something.
Right.
But Pinterest, actually, because it's a mix between a social media and a search engine, Pinterest is bringing you traffic in a more like Google style way. It's
Right.
more passive way. It's not only when you publish the pin, it's many months after you published it, you will still be getting traffic from it. And so how I started learning is, well, actually I started seeing this income report of bigger bloggers who said that the majority of their traffic comes from Pinterest. And my main, so it was inspiration, those income reports, but then I started saying, okay, this blogger makes that much money. This is the niche that this blogger is working in. I'm going to their Pinterest account, and I'm checking how much traffic they're getting for what kind of topics are bringing them the majority of traffic. I'm checking so basically it's observation. I'm still doing this. It's like my favorite way of learning. And I took a course I can recommend maybe if someone wants to start with something really not very expensive. It was an ebook actually. Now she transformed it in a small course. It's called, it's about manual pinning by Carly from Mommy on Purpose, her blog. So it was, at that time, it was really cheap, so I purchased it, and for me it was like an eye-opener, because I started seeing Pinterest as a search engine, and then all my background about Google SEO that I had before started working for me, because I already knew how to do the keyword research. I just needed to apply it on Pinterest. Mm-hmm. And now, actually, for your audience, now if someone wants to start on Pinterest, then I just recommend you. Nowadays, there is a lot of information on about Pinterest marketing. There are some channels that are focused just on this topic. About 2 years ago, it wasn't that many, honestly, so I had to buy an ebook. But you can go to YouTube. You can even open my YouTube channel. I'm not sure if I'm allowed to say that, but I have a YouTube channel focused on Pinterest marketing tips. So every week I publish a new tutorial, and you can start learning from there.
Yeah, actually, I watched a lot of your videos. I went through your channel because I discovered you around 1 month ago, actually, on Pinterest. Yep. That's the first part where the first place where I discovered you, and I went immediately to your channel, and you have a lot of lessons that are amazing. And because I'm a beginner in Pinterest and I don't know much about that, I started discovering that Pinterest actually is a good source of traffic. I didn't know that. I thought that was, something that is there. There is Facebook, there's Instagram, and then the Pinterest is in the 10th place. I never considered using Pinterest. But then right now I'm starting seeing results because I'm posting every single day on Pinterest, and I can see the consequence of posting and being really and working on that and using it every single day. So it's amazing.
You need as well on Pinterest. You need to be consistent as well, and there are tools that help you. You don't need to actually log in every day and do everything manually. I can talk about it later. There are some tools like for every social media, people who work on this, who are marketers, not just regular users, people prefer to use some scheduling tools. So the same thing happens on Pinterest. You have a scheduler, and you don't have to actually log in every day. You can schedule your pins months in advance. But I wanted to actually mention, since we're now on YouTube, Pinterest has a feature that allows you to claim a website, but you can also claim a YouTube channel and an Instagram account. And when you claim your YouTube channel, it means that Pinterest will give a priority distribution to your pins linked to YouTube videos. So I started using this. I'm not sure if you found my pin linked to YouTube video or my regular pin.
Yeah.
So I started using it not so long time ago, but I see that some of my YouTube some of my pins linked to my YouTube videos are bringing traffic directly to YouTube, right?
Sure.
Not just to my blog, but also to YouTube.
Yeah. So you said that you're using a scheduler, that you don't have to be there every single day and working on that. So let's talk about this tool, this scheduler.
Yeah.
What is the technique that you use to bring traffic to your blog?
So the scheduler, Pinterest is pretty strict about the usage of third-party tools with their platform. And last year, there was a big buzz about one scheduler that was very popular in the blogging community. It was closed. Pinterest said they don't authorize that one. So that's why I'm just emphasizing that it has to be an authorized scheduler. This one is called Tailwind, that everybody uses now for Pinterest. And Tailwind is not that expensive. It's about $10 per month. If you buy monthly, it will be $15. If you buy yearly, it will be $10 a month. And so what you can do with it is you can set one pin to a group of to a list of boards, and this pin will go within. You can select an interval. Usually, it's 1 day minimum interval because you don't want to save too many pins linked to the same page in 1 day, because that can be considered spammy. So if you want to do it in one sitting, like in one session, you take one pin, you save it on Pinterest, and then you can schedule with Tailwind to like 5 or 10 boards with intervals, and every day you have a pin going, and you can also, with Tailwind, you can set, Tailwind will suggest the best time for pinning when your audience in America. And also for people in Europe, it's very important because we cannot save pins at the time when American audience is active on Pinterest. It's around 9-10 p.m. EST. When people come from work, we are sleeping here, so in Europe. So Tailwind is like a lifesaver for people who want to promote on Pinterest.
And how do you use it? You use it just for your posts and your videos, or you use it to share even somebody else's content?
Yes, it's a good question. Yeah, you can use it to share content of other people as well. You just need to, when you are on Pinterest, you will install, well, I wish I could share my screen, but it's basically this way. Tailwind, it works as a browser extension. It's a button in your browser, and then you click on that button, and when you have this button, every pin that you see on Pinterest can become, you can schedule it from there.
Right.
So you are on Pinterest, you click the button, and you can schedule any pin you want from there, and it's very convenient. Yeah. So you can see it like in 5 minutes. You click, and you have a schedule for like 1 week or 2 weeks in advance.
Right. And what is the reason why you want to share somebody else's content? Because if I think about another social media or another, well, at the end, Pinterest is a lot more than a social media. Is a search engine, as you said.
Yeah.
But why do I have to share somebody else's content? What is the reason about doing that?
Yeah, I actually recommend not doing this too much because you're really just wasting your time sending traffic to other people. But when you're just starting on Pinterest, there's a little, like I'm just opening a little bit behind the doors from my course. I'm teaching all my students to, when they are just starting on Pinterest, create a board and save at least minimum 20 or 30 pins from other people. Why? Because your pins are completely fresh. When you're saving your pin, Pinterest doesn't know anything. It doesn't have any information. Only over time, Pinterest, based on where your pin is going to be saved, Pinterest will understand what the pin is about and will start ranking it for specific keywords. And so when you have a fresh board, the situation is the same. Pinterest doesn't know what this board is going to be about. But when you're saving popular pins of other people that are already ranking for this keyword, and actually you need to do this manually. So in this case, Tailwind doesn't help you that much because Tailwind is creating, it's called original pins. Tailwind is going to the site of that person and creates a pin from there. So if you want to build a fresh board on Pinterest, you need to first manually save popular pins there. And so you're bringing the context, keyword context, using those other people's pins. But when you don't have this objective of building your new boards, what you can do, you can just save about 10 or 20% of content to keep your boards active
Right.
So when you don't have, imagine you have a topic that you are covering this month, but in the next 3 months you don't cover that topic in any of your blog posts or your YouTube videos. So you don't want this board to be inactive for so long, and then you can just save from time to time pins of other people, but not that much, not like 80% of other people. 80% has to be your own content.
I see. Okay. So you see, I didn't know this. And so for the people that are not familiar with Pinterest, we can say that each of your board is like a Facebook page where you have to post consistently whatever you're going to post, but you have to keep it alive. Something like this,
Yes.
more or less.
Yes, you need to keep it updated. Yeah.
All right, got it. And to use
Some of your,
this,
just one note, sorry, that some of the boards that are not, some boards will be evergreen. Like you understand that, for example, Christmas board, anything like Christmas decor, right? This board doesn't have to be active all year round. Doesn't make sense. You can start being more active on it from September and then until Christmas, and then you can just forget about it for a while. But some boards, they are really evergreen boards. If it's your main topic, like let's say business tips, then you need to be always active and talking about business tips with your audience.
right? Obviously, yeah. And if you have to think about a length of time before your pins will become to get some traction and get some attention, how long do you think it takes for a pin that I pin right now today to get some attention from other people?
It's not that much actually. If you don't see any traction within 10 days, then the pin is not getting traction. Probably it's very rare that the pin, because you know Pinterest, it does have this much longer, it's called half lifetime. Well, I forgot the term. Basically on Instagram your post lives for like 1 day, on Facebook for 1 day, on Twitter for 1 hour. You know, the lifetime. On Pinterest, the lifetime of a pin is about 6 months. After 6 months, the platform is almost ignoring that pin, and you need to create a new pin linked to that page if you want to get traffic again.
Right.
So the lifetime is 6 months, the half-time is 3 months, and then can be the first 2 weeks Pinterest is testing this pin on, it's called early engagement. Pinterest is showing this pin to your followers first and checking how your followers interacting with your pin. Are they saving it? Are they clicking through to your site? Right? Are they commenting on it? And if they have this early engagement high, then Pinterest is going to start showing your pin to people who are not your followers, and then you can start seeing in about 10 days or 2 weeks, you can start seeing a viral pin.
I see. Okay, so let's assume that I wanted to promote this video, this YouTube interview, or I want to promote a webinar or something that is going to happen in a few days. What do you think I should do? Because if Pinterest takes some time, like 1 week to do that, what do you think I should do?
You need to start using advertising then, because and even with Pinterest ads, it will take some time for the platform. Like even if you ever tried Facebook ads, for example, or Google ads, it will pass at least a couple of days until the platform understands what is the audience they should show your content to. If it's a promoted pin, it will happen faster than in 2 weeks. It will happen like in 2 or 3 days, you will start seeing clicks, right? So if you imagine if you know that you will have a webinar in 2 weeks from now, then you can start promoting at least in 2 weeks before this happens. And the problem with, so if you would like to promote a webinar, a live webinar, right? If it's an evergreen, I will talk about it later. So if it's a live webinar that happens one time, then you cannot promote it with organic pins, because when your webinar finished, your pin is still there and it's sending people to what? To an empty page. It's actually bad for your account, because then if you leave it just an empty page, people can start flagging this pin, start saying that it goes to spam or whatever, and it will be even worse for your account. And with Pinterest ads, what is good is that you can run an ad, and then when you don't want to run it, you just turn it off, and the pin is not working anymore, not getting traffic or views anymore. So for short time notice, it has to be ads. And I wanted to mention that if it's an event that is an evergreen webinar, because there are automated webinars, then you can use it, because obviously people can join this webinar at any time, and there is no problem. This pin can stay there forever on Pinterest and drive you traffic all the time.
Right. Yeah, it makes sense. And do you have any advice for paid ads on Pinterest? Like, do you think there are some content, some kind of contents that are better to be promoted with ads? Like, for example, yes, a live webinar, it's better to promote it with ads. Or something else? Do you have any advice?
Yeah, I just want to recommend using Pinterest ads for people who have something to sell. Like, if you want to drive traffic, that doesn't make any sense, because you'll never if you drive traffic to make money with ads, your ads will never bring you more money than you will spend. Yes. But if you're selling something that can cover your expenses for ads and give you some and still leave you with revenue, then so it can be ebooks, it can be products like printables, can be products like, because clicks on Pinterest are pretty cheap. So you can even if it's a low cost product, but it has to be a product, or if you want to bring people to your email list as well, and then you have a sequence, imagine you have a sequence, and then you sell and upsell and upsell, then this price per lead will be justified. Okay, so if you have something to sell, it's always a great idea to use Pinterest, because the nice thing, the difference between a regular pin, organic pin, and a promoted pin is that when they click on the promoted pin, they can go directly to your site. When they open a regular pin, they first open a pin much bigger. Right. So first it appears smaller, and then the biggest bigger, and then they can decide whether they want to go to your site or not. With promoted pin, they go always to your site immediately.
Directly. Oh yeah, makes sense. Okay. Nice. Okay, that's another thing that I didn't know. So I'm getting this class for free. That's great.
Yeah. Pinterest ads are pretty nice. They're now like, an emergent platform compared to Facebook, where everything became super competitive and expensive. Yes. On Pinterest, you can get clicks for. They have actually a minimum of 10 cents per click, which on Facebook, I think that lately it's unheard of, this number. And if your ad is performing very well, if you have a lot of click-throughs, if the CTR is high, then your Pinterest will start even dropping. And I had one ad that was like 4 cents per click. And on average, I'm getting sign-ups for around $1, $1.50. Sign-ups. People are coming into my list. It's not very expensive. Yeah, compared to some other platforms.
Really difficult with Facebook nowadays. It's really, really, really expensive. So I suggest everyone to give a try to Pinterest ads. And you said, going back talking about the tailwind, you said that is just you have to spend $10 per month, right? It's more or less like this.
Yes, it's the only cost. If you are a complete beginner and you want just to try it out on Pinterest, you can start even without Tailwind. You can start saving manually. But when you start having too many pages to which you want to create pins, and you have many pins, many boards on your account, it will become just too complicated to make it manually, and you will really need a scheduler to do this. So as a beginner, you can try out for the first month or two doing it manually, but when you start growing and you start growing your boards, you will be in trouble without a scheduler.
Definitely. Yeah, I will put the link to Tailwind in the description anyway. So if someone wants to try, they have the link there. So let's assume, okay, let's get someone who is starting right now with Pinterest, completely new, doesn't know anything about Pinterest, or at least maybe use Pinterest just to save some recipes or something about, I don't know, dresses or anything like that, clothes. What would you suggest to do to start if I want to use it for my business at least?
Yeah, it's crucial. It's very important to understand what is Pinterest SEO. So you need to start learning that, because if you just start randomly creating boards or randomly saving your pins, you will be just wasting your time, and you will get disappointed with the platform because you don't see the results. And you don't see the results because you didn't use the right strategy. So you can learn about Pinterest SEO from YouTube videos, maybe from my course if you want to join. But before you start saving pins, you want to create boards. I already mentioned this little trick, right? You create boards that are optimized, and you save pins, third-party pins manually. And so your boards are prepared to saving your own pins. And when you're saving your own pins, you need to do proper optimization on your site. So if it's a site, you have post SEO title, post SEO description. If it's YouTube video, you have to also copy your keyword optimized description and title from YouTube. So all of this is important. Keywords have to be everywhere on Pinterest. You cannot just, and also hashtags. You can use hashtags in descriptions on Pinterest, and they have to be relevant. So something that people don't understand, the Pinterest hashtags are different from Instagram hashtags.
Okay.
On Instagram, you can put anything that is trending or, just to get this hype. Because hashtag, and so you get into the explore page on Pinterest, you have to be very careful. You have to use hashtags that are relevant to that pin. Okay. Because Pinterest is using hashtags as a search type of search. So you have keyword search, or you can put hashtag and search. It's a wide type of search on Pinterest.
Okay, and how many pins? Okay, you can get a tool to schedule your pins, but what would you say the number of pins per day that someone should repeat?
When you're just starting out, you can start with about 10 pins per day, and then I would say up to 30 pins is good. If from 10 to 30 pins per day is 30 pins is a very good pace for any account. I've seen some people are doing a lot more than this.
All right.
Some people are doing a lot more than this, and they're getting more views, Pinterest views, but we don't know if they can get in trouble over time, because if they're just saving a lot of pins from other sites, it's no problem. But if they're saving a lot of pins to the same page in one day, they can get suspended for this. So volumes is one thing, and you need to be careful with repetition. You cannot save the same page many times in one day. You need to make it 1 pin per day or 1 pin in 2 days. Like that.
And when someone listens something like this, like I should pin 10 times per day, 10 pins per day, or 30 pins per day, they think they have to stay there in front of the computer for 3 hours or 4 hours.
No.
It's like this, or it takes less than that?
Yeah, it takes less, because if you're repinning something, it just takes you 2 seconds. You open a pin of another person and you click choose a board and save. It takes about a couple of seconds. So if you are repinning, like you can repin 10 pins in 1 minute. That's it.
All right. That's convenient.
It's repinning. If you need to create your pins, it takes more time because you need to optimize them. And so when you're working with your own pins, well, let's say that you are saving 1 pin in 10 minutes. Let's say that you made the deep keyword research, you spent 10 minutes, you saved this pin. So it doesn't mean that you have to then come every day and repin it manually. You schedule it with Tailwind, and in the next 2 weeks, the pin goes to another 20 boards.
Right.
That's it. With a couple of clicks, you're scheduling it for many weeks in advance.
Yeah. It's a lot easier than people may think. People may think that they have to spend 2 hours.
I was doing, when I just started, I was doing it when I had breaks. Just when I had a lunchtime or breakfast time, whatever.
Right.
Just saving pins for 2 minutes. It doesn't take much effort.
And do you use any other social media in your business, or you mostly are focused on Pinterest?
Yeah, Pinterest brings me the most income, but I need to as well to be present in other platforms. I use Facebook, for example. I have a Facebook group, which I publish there my YouTube links to my YouTube videos, to my posts, and honestly, I'm not getting much traction from that group. It's already, I think it's about 2,000. See, I don't even remember how many. I'm sorry, people who joined, they will be sad that I don't remember how many, but I think it's about 2,000 people in that group. So people can ask me questions, I can share my tips there, but I'm not seeing much, sales or whatever from that group. And then I also tried to do something with Instagram. Really sad situation. The best, my second favorite is YouTube actually nowadays, because as soon as I started it, for anyone who works in the business niche or who sells courses or sells coaching services, I think that YouTube is the best place to establish your authority in a niche and to present yourself as an expert, because nobody knew, and as I'm not even a native speaker in English, for me, selling my course is a little bit more difficult because people have to kind of go through this, understanding my accent, and like they need to really understand why they have to listen to this girl. Because if it's someone
Totally feel
who
you.
speaks who speaks without an accent, it's easier to listen to them. So anyway, when I started a YouTube channel, I was worried that this will be a limiting factor, but in the end, it's okay. People are like, okay, who follows me? They just, some people say, oh, you have a lovely Russian accent. I said, okay, I know, I have a Russian accent, and. From YouTube, I'm getting these people who are really like raving fans compared to people when you are on Pinterest or you are behind your blog. They don't see your face. They don't know if they want to trust you. But on the video, in the video format, there is like an instant connection. They either like you or they hate you.
Right.
If they hate you, thanks God, they're not going to be my clients. If they like me, they're going to be my clients and they will be happy with my services. And well, that's it.
Yeah.
YouTube is also very good as as a passive traffic source, because it's not like on the day when I published, they will find me. No, they will find me 6 months from now from the same videos that I published long ago.
Yeah, in some way they are really similar, YouTube and Pinterest, because if you create something there and it's content that is gonna work even in 6 months, 1 year, people will will keep finding you, and this is not happening with Facebook or Twitter, especially Twitter.
Yeah.
And I can see on the comments that people are really in love with your Facebook group as well. There is Devin Montrose who said, who wrote that you have a great Facebook group and a great newsletter.
Oh, nice.
So, yeah, so it's working. It's working.
Great.
It's working pretty well.
I was just I wanted to say about YouTube and Pinterest that they are both visual search engines and both are social media at the same time. So you're leveraging both search traffic and viral traffic. And they work very similar in this way. On Pinterest, I noticed that the pins that are getting popular, they usually have a lot of comments under them. They're not popular forever, but when they're getting viral, there are a lot of comments all the time. On YouTube, I'm seeing the same. If a video is getting a lot of comments, there is some traction. The video is going to get more views than on average on the channel. So I like to see the similarities between these platforms. Yeah.
Yeah, it's true. And to adapt to what you said before, I suggest to everyone to try YouTube, even if English is not their native language and they are afraid that people can't understand them. Because for me, it was the same experience. I thought I was really afraid about my accent. I thought nobody wanted to listen to me, or someone is talking English with an Italian accent. But yeah, I got the same feedback. Like people are saying that I have a nice accent and what I say is understandable. So it wasn't that bad. And and at the end you get better and better with YouTube. You start that you're really bad, and little by little you improve.
Yeah. I even sometimes I watch my first, not videos on YouTube, but my first videos for the course, and I just record them again just because I hate how I speak there.
Yeah.
So the content is okay, but how I speak is terrible. So I record it again.
Yeah, tell me about it. So before we wrap it up and we close it, let's make this. Let's talk about someone who is starting right now, who is in your same situation you were before. You were working a job and you wanted to create your online business. So, what would you suggest to someone who is starting right now from zero to create something online, based on your experience?
Well, I would suggest that first of all, if they're thinking about doing it and quitting their job immediately, don't do this, because when you are in the place where you're just thinking what you're gonna eat tomorrow, like even if you don't have a family, but you still have to live somewhere, you have to eat something, and if your mind is constantly solving these problems on a daily basis, you cannot think about some great business ideas at that time. So if you are stable, if you have like some savings, or you know that your income from online started bringing you a consistently some revenue months after months, and then it's a good time to quit your job. And well, in also when you already reach that point that you reach that point that you feel too comfortable. You already have a stable job, and your income online is also growing, and you don't know like what to do, because some people are like that. They're getting too comfortable and getting stuck. Then it's another point when you really need to take a decision and move on. And if you want to proceed, if you believe in your that dream that you can reach with your online income, usually online income, because you're not working for someone, you're working for yourself, you can reach much higher levels in terms of income, in terms of freedom, of how you can travel, you can work from anywhere. And so I'm not sure if I answered the question.
Yeah,
so what would I suggest people to do when they want to start? They need to be brave, but also reasonable. Yeah, reasonable. They need to think about their future year at least, and then take a decision.
And would you suggest to do the same thing that you've done, starting a blog, or would you do something different?
There's so many opportunities. I cannot tell that everyone has to become a blogger. There's e-commerce, drop shippers, creating courses is also very profitable. Type of coaching services are great. So there's so many ways to make money online, but blogging is something that is actually very good for people that are not for extroverts. Like, for example, I'm not an extrovert. I'm an introvert, and so sitting behind the screen is for me less stressful than sitting in front of people in front of the camera. So I can write a blog post and enjoy it, and I can make money with it. So if you are like this, if you're an introvert, then blogging is a great way for you. But it's also a great way to learn new ways of communication and becoming a better person. Like, I'm an introvert, but I'm trying to put myself out there and talk in front of the people on the camera. So I'm growing through this experience. Yeah, blogging is a great way, because there's so many people like stay-at-home moms, or not stay-at-home, but they would like to stay at home with their children. Amazing type of blogging is great for. I have a sister-in-law. She's a sister of my husband. She's a school teacher. She still works in school, but she started a blog with recipes because she likes cooking at home. And believe it or not, she, in like about 8 months or 10 months, she was already making her second salary there.
Yeah, and it's something that
just working on weekends and posting just recipes, nothing else, just recipes. Yeah.
Sometimes it's a lot better to just start and not asking yourself questions. Just start and see how it goes, because as you said, she has a blog about cooking, and is overcrowded online. There are so many blogs about cooking.
Yeah, people are overthinking it, but the reality is that in the niches that are super popular, there is so much demand. So there's always space for a new blog. And it was very easy for her to grow. Of course, she was guided, because I was telling her what to do in Pinterest, etc. If she was learning it from the beginning on her own, it would take her longer time, but she would still get there, because people like her recipes, they like her photos, and that's it.
Yeah, the web is like this. If you have something that it's not, we were talking before about the fact that we are afraid of how we deliver our message. We have a strange accent. It's not our native language. Maybe you don't like how you look on the camera, or you don't like how you write on your blog. You have all these problems, but at the end it's about what you offer. If what you offer is something that people is looking for, it's gonna work.
And if people can identify themselves with you, because you can be whatever because there is always someone similar to you. Someone is with the same accent. That I get a lot of sales, especially in the beginning. I was getting most sales from Europe. Now I'm getting more from America, because people were identifying, this girl is making money with with Pinterest, with American audience, and why I cannot do the same. So as people from Europe were buying more. Now I'm getting more as well audience from the United States as well.
Amen. Great. Okay, thank you very much, Anastasia. And if people want to reach you and find more about you, I already put the link to your website here on video. But if you have anything else you're working on, or you want to advise us on things you're working on, way to get in touch with you.
Yeah, I just would recommend just check what I'm publishing on YouTube if you want to start away without paying me anything. And then if you feel that I can give you a valuable advice, then it's anastasiablogger.com. I have my course and paid services as well.
All right,
Yeah.
that's great. Okay, thank you again,
Great.
Anastasia,
Thank
for
you,
being
guys.
here.
Thank
And
you.
guys, you are watching this video or listening on the podcast, share the episode wherever you want. You have my approval, and I'll see you in the next video or podcast. And thank you again, Anastasia.
Thank you. Thank you. Bye-bye. Thank you for inviting me. So, do we disconnect now?
Yeah.
Okay. Bye.